lightning cells echo through the halls. Whenever candlelights flicker, when the air is deathly still, that is the time those are present, practicing their ghoulish delight. When cryptos creak and tombstones quake, spoons come out for a swinging wake. Happy haunts materialize and begin to vocalize. Grim grinning ghosts come out to socialize. Close your eyes and don't try to hide. Shrouded in a dark disguise. Grim ghosts come out to socialize. When cryptos creak and tombstones quake, spoons come out for a swinging wake. Happy haunts materialize and begin to vocalize. Grim ghosts come out to socialize.
And what's up, everybody?
Up. Hello, everyone. Doesn't really give us a count, but we're gonna assume there's like 50,000 people watching us right now. We're Taylor
gotta
Swift.
come. Yeah, you got to come with that energy.
Yeah, energetic. Here we go.
Yeah.
All right.
I hope that intro followed in good and everything was fine because this is my first time trying that. So
I thought it was. Did you write and record that? Was that like?
No. Desiree made that for us.
Oh, that's awesome, Desiree. Thank you so much. That was really cool. I loved it.
The music is the Haunted Mansion.
Okay.
From Disney World, but it's remixed and redone by somebody else. She gave me the information, but I forgot. She said I might want to mention them just so it's not like copyright.
So I might have to pause here and take Cujo upstairs. I apologize. I should have. Are you gonna lay down? Are you gonna shut up? Okay. I can't hear him on my side, so give me like a sign if he's being like I can hear it. It's really loud, and I'll take him upstairs. Yeah, that's the coffee usually makes it stop.
Got to get that last little out.
Oh man, it's awful.
That's a pretty snazzy T-shirt you got on, Josh.
You know, thank you. I got this from Antipathy Vestures. They're over on Etsy. I ordered a shirt from that shop, and they surprised me with this one in there as well. So it was a hell of a surprise. I did an unboxing video on it, and I think I almost cried during the process because it was just like, there's two shirts in here. I hope they didn't screw something up and like send me the wrong thing. And then I unraveled it. It was just like, what is this? This is amazing. I was so stoked. And it looks like you have an awfully snazzy one as well.
Yeah, this one's Zobi did this. Zobi decided to I've heard of that company once. They were just like, hey, we got our own t-shirt press, which was a very smart move on their part, because if you're a company that's doing t-shirts, why not get your own? So you don't have to, outsource for t-shirts, and you can do the exact design and color you want. So like, hey, we're gonna play around with it. Send us a design. So like, you know what? I'll send them my design and just see what they did, and it turned out really good. So I got Chelsea one, and then I did my video where I said that if you have less than 50,000 subscribers, you shouldn't be doing your own merchandise because I'm a dick. But
it's true though. I mean, like, if we came in here with like, before we'd even done this episode or whatever here, or even before the end of the year, I'll say,
yeah,
with like t-shirts that had like the Movies in Mayhem and our logos and stuff on it, I feel like it would just be like coming out of the gate too hot. Like, it would kind of just make us look too proud, or like too assuming.
It's too thirsty.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. And I don't know, like, I think I want to tiptoe around this a little bit because I don't want, like, I'm not talking shit on anybody. Like, do what you want to do, obviously. Yeah. I just didn't think that it was right for, like, I don't even have 500 followers or subscribers on YouTube. I don't even have 100 followers on my new Facebook page. Subscribe and follow my Facebook page. But I felt that if I were to come in with like merchandise and stuff, I'd look like a dick.
Yeah, I guess it's like one of those fake it till you make it type situations. Because I made a comment about it. We were at an event. I saw these guys that they had T-shirts, they had stickers, and they were just like at their table, and I was like, these people must be big. I mean, like, to have all this stuff and to spend all this money, and then they gave me their card. Their card was nice, has a little QR code on it. So I looked them up. I think they had a couple hundred people on Facebook, and they had I think it was like less than 100 on YouTube, and their Instagram was very low. And I was just like, I have maybe 1,600 subscribers right now on YouTube. If you're not subscribed to my YouTube, go do that. And I have, which TikTok, I don't see any kind of success on TikTok as anything. That's very vapid, that whole TikTok space. It takes nothing to go viral. I have 26,000 on TikTok.
Ooh.
That is a lot, but I'd much rather have that on YouTube because that's where the number actually matters.
For sure.
But yeah,
Right.
I guess it's one of those, if you're gonna put that energy out there that you want to come back. So if you want to be big and have T-shirts made, and I guess that's you.
And absolutely. And don't we're not here to tell you what to do or what not to do. I would tell you not to watch Arachnophobia, and here we are. But it's just, take it for what it is.
Yeah. So
But
this
again, the main thing that I want to point out is check out Antipathy Vestures on Etsy. I could not be happier with this shirt, with the other shirt I got from them, and support that small business, man. Like it's something that I was really excited about. Even just for the other shirt I got was like a Gatlin, Nebraska, name that movie, like a Welcome to Gatlin shirt. And I
Yeah, there was a little bit of a thing, but I think you're.
Was it
you
me
okay
or was
now?
it you?
I don't know. I was just sitting here quietly listening to you talk, and then you was like,
well, hopefully it'll be smooth sailing
yeah.
from here. And then if you want to go ahead and again point out where your shirt came from and all that,
Yeah.
so we can give them
Zobi at shopzobi.com, Zobi Productions. Check out their Facebook, and they're on Instagram. If you've seen my channel, Josh used to do them. They do horror mystery boxes, and they do consignments on autographs, stuff like that.
Yeah, and oh man, so we have like a little bit of an agenda. I'll go ahead and throw that out right now. And the first is to just introduction and just talk a little bit and see how many people are going to stop on by.
Yeah.
Eventually, what up, Side Hustle Cinema? And Steven, I can't remember if I actually verbally said hello or just typed it. Hello to both of you. And anyone else who's watching, please feel free to say hi in the comments. But we wanted to just talk a little bit, warm up, get to know you, let you get to know us, all that fun stuff, do some sick dance moves, and then we'll, get into the movie and all that. If you saw our earlier video where we talked about how we were going to watch Arachnophobia, you will know that I am not a fan of that movie.
Josh indeed has arachnophobia.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, dude, it's gonna be a fun talk. And then did you see that post I made like the day after I watched it in the bathroom?
Zero. Okay, 1 second. Zero is from Sweden, so that is hello from Sweden, or hello to Sweden.
Hello to Sweden. Nero
Yeah.
Zero. What time is it there?
It'll take a second. There's a delay. Yeah.
I'll be paying attention, I promise.
Yeah.
The day after I watched it, I was hanging in my bathroom, as one does. I came out from taking a nice, hot, steamy shower. My body glistening. Just setting the mood. I want to make sure everyone knows. Because that spider saw it and was like, I need that. I need that in my life. And just came down and stopped. Like eye level and was like, sup, dog. Or daddy, maybe. I don't know what he said. He said it in spider. And I just said, I hate you so much. Go away. And that was pretty much how the conversation went. I also didn't have any toilet paper. So I was just like, I gotta get away from him. So
It's 3:10 there. So
that's it's amazing that you're here. Thank you so much.
yeah. I don't know if that's AM or PM, but we just appreciate you being here.
Absolutely. I'm trying to think. There's a band, Blindside. They're like a Christian metal, Christian hardcore band, and yeah, they're from Sweden. They're one of my favorites. I'm not trying to say that Sweden is like a small that you know everybody. That's the only way that I can like relate to Sweden.
They were neighbors. I mean,
yeah.
There's like 8 houses in Sweden. So I have a new setup, mic and camera, and pretty soon I'll have a headset, hopefully. But if I'm too washed out, or if anybody has any opinions about how things look, let me know. But one thing I can do is this right here.
Do it again.
It's like
I love it.
I know I can zoom in and like offset myself. Boop bop, boop bop, boop bop. It's pretty interesting. It's a fun little remote, but
dude, technology is amazing.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it so much. So there's this goal that Chuck and I have of meeting up at this ice cream shop in Ripley, West Virginia. Okay. Ripley, West Virginia is not a bustling town by any stretch of the imagination, but it's when I go visit my parents, it's the exit that I take off the highway to go see them. So it's like the last chance I have to it's the last chance I have to like get food or anything like that before I get to where they live. And I was going to visit them one time. I got off the highway and I saw all these signs of like weird clown statues and like there's balloons and like t-shirts set up in the parking lot. It's like, what the fuck is this? And I saw it said I Scream Sunday. And I was like, I need to check this out. This is weird. I need to see what's going on here. So I stopped and it was all this horror themed ice cream. Long story short, me and Chuck really need to try to get out there and do a live. Like they posted something the other day with new shirts. My mom drove by today and I was like, yo, grab me one of those shirts. And she did. But that's a plan. If you're ever in Ripley, West Virginia, stop by and tell them that we said hello and that they should bring us in there to do a live. They already said it would be cool. They would like it, but Chuck's already he's looking at me like, I already told you when I'm going to be there. All you have to do is show up. And that's true. He did.
Hey, yeah. He did. And if anybody's else in there, it will be May the 6th. That's when I'm going to be there. Josh was like, yeah, we should do a live from there. And the person that commented, I can't remember if it was the Ice Cream Sunday account or her personal account, but she's like, yeah, that's the owner.
Yeah.
Clarissa is the owner. Or, no, that's not Clarissa. It's, oh my gosh. I feel so bad now for messing that up, but it's not Clarissa. Don't watch this.
It was funny because they posted a picture like the day before and I was looking at it and I was like, man, that woman in the picture looks so familiar. How do I know who that is? I worked at a tattoo shop in Marietta, Ohio for a little while. And the woman in the picture was the wife of a tattoo artist that I had worked with. So it was just a really strange, like small world thing. So yeah, long story short, I really want to get down there. What is up, Eric? And what is up, CSR Collectibles?
Good to have you guys.
Absolutely. If you are watching this and you're not aware of CSR Collectibles, when a company stops by, we will do our best to say who they are. If we ignore them, then we're jerks. CSR Collectibles is not someone that I would ignore. They have the Stuntman for Scream 6 right now is up for pre-order. You see the Scream mask hanging out here behind me. That's actually signed by Alan Robinson, who did the stunts in Scream 1 and 2. Like the TV scene where the TV falls on Stu. It wasn't Stu. It wasn't Matthew Lillard. It was Alan Robinson who did that stunt. So they're going to be getting a bunch of from my understanding from the teaser they put out there, they're going to be getting a bunch of like the stuntmen from Scream. So check them out. Keep an eye on them and what they're doing. Their reels they've been releasing and stuff have been really helpful. They can teach you how to not only put a item into a sleeve for proper shipping, but also how to take it out.
Yeah, that's my favorite video so far is him. This is how you ship a Funko.
Dude, I love that video.
Yeah.
Horror
What's
Man
up,
Joe,
Horror Man Joe?
what is
Yeah.
up, friend? How are you doing tonight?
But we've been going for about 50.
Yeah, it's about time that we get to the point. It's about time we get to the point. I agree. So, like I said, we had like an agenda of sorts set up. As you know, I can talk a lot. I will do my best to shut my mouth a little bit.
I think we've
gonna have
done
a
2 lives now that we've talked to like over 40-some minutes just talking.
Yeah.
So,
and we want this to be interactive. Chime in, let us know what you think. We really want to make sure that we include you in this. That's why you're here, right? So of the ones that are here, thank you all so much for stopping by. I'll make sure to say hi and check the chats throughout. But we will do a giveaway. I have no idea how we're going to do it yet. It is a used copy, so it's nothing too crazy, but it is my copy of Arachnophobia. If you want me to sign it for you, I'm not going to because that would be weird. But I'll write a nice note to you. I never want to watch it again, so I will be giving that to a happy home. Kick us off, Chuck. Tell us about this movie. The first time you saw it, how you feel about it?
Oh, it's hard to say the first time I saw it, honestly. It came out to Arachnophobia, 1990. I don't know. I think I seen it when I was maybe 10 or 11, probably around there. It was super young. I just remember it was a fun spider movie. And then I grew to just appreciate it as I grew up. Like a lot of I just remember a lot of weird horror movies when I was growing up that I had to try to find as I got older. Arachnophobia wasn't one, but I think it's underappreciated. It's not talked about enough. Stuff like that. But we got Jeff Daniels as Dr. Ross Jennings. We got John Goodman as Delbert McClintock, and then Julian Sands as Dr. James Atherton. So those are the bigger names. Like those are the first people you're going to see when you pull it up that were in it.
And is it safe to say rest in peace to Julian Sands at this point?
I just looked it up to make sure that, because that's what I was doing when you were talking about ice cream, was checking. And as of March the 30th, he is still not found. So
that is so awful.
Yeah.
Like just thinking about that family, like, I mean, but at the same time, you're like, you don't want to believe it and you don't want to like give up. But like, man, that's so terrible. If you haven't heard, it was months ago. It was February, maybe. He was hiking in the mountains in California and a big storm unexpectedly hit. And he hasn't been seen since. And there was somebody else, I think, that was in his party that was found, but he himself has not been found. So I'm not a positive person. I will say a big rest in peace to Julian Sands with the hopes that they do find him.
Yeah, that would be amazing to find him. But right now, it's one of those situations where there's not a chance. It's like, how is he surviving out there type of situation? Because he's been gone it's been so long. It's been almost 3 months type of situation to where
he's eating spiders. He's living off of spiders.
He learned something from Arachnophobia. He's just
So one thing I found interesting with this movie, with everything you watch, the way that they were running through the house, they were running through the barn and the basement, the way he fell in and everything, like no spiders died in the making of that movie. All the dead spiders were like dead of natural causes. Yep. They did not kill any.
They took the most paramount, care to not harm any of the spiders that they used. Let me tell you how many spiders they first brought over.
Yeah,
you're gonna love this. Over 300. It was like over 300 spiders they brought.
I expected more, so that's not bad.
Yeah.
But the small ones, the one I'm guessing this is what you're talking about, came from the Netherlands.
I have New Zealand. That's what I have.
I have Home of Tim Baum, and he is from New Zealand, I believe. So I think that I just have terrible handwriting and couldn't read it.
You're good.
So New
yeah,
Zealand.
it's yeah, they were a native spider to Australia.
The Avondale.
Yeah, and then they migrated. They got them over to New Zealand, and now they're basically the native spider of New Zealand. They are well known for their aggressive looking body type and just look, but they are very docile and calm and um, easily. They used. I have here. They use vibrating wires and
Which you can see in some
lemon
scenes.
pledge, like because they won't cross lemon pledge and stuff. Like if you've ever heard to take Irish Spring soap and like mark out outlines of your house, like the
Josh, why
windowsills, the
does your
door
home
sills.
smell like Irish Spring
Yeah.
soap?
Did you have to watch it by yourself? That's
I
Did
did.
Emily watch it? Oh,
No. But it so
Isaac, how you doing? Yeah.
you mentioned the the razor wire, we'll say, that they led them with.
Yeah.
In the scene right before CSR, Doug or Schwabe, I'm assuming Doug, but no matter who it is, thank you for stopping by. Have a great
Yeah.
evening. The spider's sneaking up on the widow. The kitten's on the couch, like oblivious to the spider. You can see the wire, and the spider's like trying to go the other way. Thought that was interesting. And the spiders had their own temperature-controlled home, and the etymologists found ways to guide them with those wires, with the pledge and things like that, to keep them safe, to make sure that nothing was harmed, which is great. I mean, whatever. We'll get to later on. We're going to talk a little bit about the remake or sequel or whatever they're looking to do next.
Like I haven't looked into that, so that will be that you will be heading that up because it's one of those. I hope it's not bad, so I don't look into it type of situation. Like,
I think you'll be happy with what I found.
Okay.
There's not much out yet. Like if anybody's looked into it, you probably already know what I'm going to tell you. But I think you're going to be happy because it's going to go back to something you said when we last talked about this, or in our last little live when we talked about it. Yeah, so any of the spiders died of natural causes. With the filming of the movie, it opens up with like the beautiful view of Venezuela, Venezuela, and they're down there for that expedition. They actually did film that there, which I thought was interesting because they go from that amazing filming with a small portion of the cast. Like, they didn't take Jeff Daniels down there. John Goodman didn't go down there.
No.
They would have just had like Sands and whoever played, what was Manley?
Jerry Manley, yeah.
Yeah. And the rest of it was filmed in Cambria. Yeah, Cambria, Canada. So I just thought that was interesting. Like everyone else got stuck in Canada, but it was a beautiful area, it seemed. And with the poster, where you look at this.
Oh yeah.
And
I had that written down too.
Good.
This is the
oh yeah.
Okay. This is the actual DVD cover. You got a bit of a shot. See, now if you look close, can you tell the difference between these two? Now, this is only on the DVD and the VHS cover. So there is something missing from, other than the name being on top and bottom, but there is something missing from, like I said, when they did the advertisements for it, they did the VHS cover and the DVD cover. And then whenever, I think it was like 2009 rolled around, when they did the Blu-rays,
now
they put it back on the poster.
Okay, never mind. You already said it. Never mind.
But yeah, that's what I have as my notes. I thought that was an interesting thing that I'd be like, oh, Josh, did you know? And then Josh pulled it out on me, was like, I did know.
Did you know? Yeah, no, that was one of the few ones I got. I apologize. How about this? So like I said, we're going to do a giveaway, right? We have 6 people in here now. We keep trickling up and down. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put a question out there. Whoever answers this is going to be the winner of the movie. So I got to get back to where I was here. Here's that. Create a banner. Who is responsible for the design of the general spider?
Oh, that's part of my notes too.
All right.
Yeah, unbelievably. I know it's hard to believe how professional, all my videos really are, but this is the first time I ever wrote notes down, and as close as I came to a script was doing this. So from now on, when we do these, this is what I'll have. But it's going to take some time to actually like get into a good rhythm, I guess, of doing these things.
Isaac, that is incorrect. And we'll leave that up. We'll let the comments keep scrolling. When we see the right answer here, you said you have it right, Chuck. You know who it is?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
He is a dick.
Why do you say that?
That's what I've heard.
Oh, really? I think
Yeah.
he is just for designing this prop.
Oh, well, yeah.
Ah, the jump, dude. Okay. There were some good jump scares in this movie.
Yeah, they did a good job to build it. I like the fact that they made you feel uncomfortable and jerky with normal size spiders, because a lot of these movies we're seeing now are like huge giant spiders, eight-legged. You got your eight-legged freaks, you got your the movie called Big Ass Spider, stuff like that. They think bigger is scarier, but when in reality these itty bitty 50-cent piece size spiders are like that's scarier because you can't see them coming. Steven got it right.
Steven, congratulations. You'll have to send me a message either on Instagram or on my Facebook, and I'll write down that it was you. But if you can't find me on either of those, please let me know, and we'll make sure that we get this movie out to you.
What's up, Audie?
Audie Marsh, how you doing, buddy?
Yeah.
Audie Marsh Productions. I have it's up here, the baseball bat from The Shining that he designed. It is an amazing piece.
Yeah, I missed that, and it was a great price for the size and
dude,
what it is. It looks amazing. It
we don't want to tell him that too much. The next time he does it, it's gonna be like 500.
Yeah, he's like, oh well, if that's a great price, I might need to raise it up a little bit. But I don't have it here because the thing I got off Audie was a gift for Big John. Was that?
Oh yeah,
Jason X.
Yeah, that turned out amazing.
Yeah, that it looked great, and I hated giving it away. I hated giving it to him as a birthday present. I mean, Christmas present. It hurt, and I have to see it every time we go down to his entertainment room, sitting on a bookcase. You would love. I need to take a picture next time I go down there. He designed his door to his garage as the bathroom door from The Shining.
Oh, that's rad.
Yeah, like it has red rum and in it, and the big bust out of it and stuff like that, and then it looks really cool. I'll have to take a picture.
Yeah, take a picture of it for me.
Yeah.
And so Audie just said in the chat, I do know his next project, and it looks sick. I love what he did with that. I love the details that he put into it. So keep an eye on Audie Marsh Productions. You can find him over on Facebook. You can find him anywhere. Chuck and I have both done videos for him. Yeah, you can find him. Cujo's coughing again. So with the movie, when I popped in the Blu-ray, did you watch it on DVD?
I watched it on DVD because I had to watch it on my laptop because I was doing something else. So, but I have seen it on Blu-ray whenever I showed Chesley. So
what trailers did you have on the Blu-ray or on the DVD?
I didn't even check out the trailers. I watched.
I love the trailers. Yeah. This is going to be something that you always hear from me. Actually, and I also wanted to mention, when I said that it was filmed in Canada, I felt really bad because there is, where did I write it down? So they filmed when they were in the small town USA where all the spiders ate everybody. Jason Seisman, I'm going to say Seisman, I know I'm pronouncing it wrong, is a great dude. He is the king of horror in Canada. That's my title for him. He's awesome. So if he is watching, I just wanted to say hi to him. Best pizza and best horror movie collection I've ever seen. I'm going to take him upstairs and then we're going to get into it. I apologize. He was supposed to already be up there.
And that's Cujo. Now, if you're just getting here, we're about to talk about, we're about to head right into arachnophobia. We did some filler and some talk about a little bit of did you know, or things like that. So as soon as Josh gets back, we will pop right in. If anybody's got any questions or anything like that, he needs to take down the banner, which I can do that. Boop. But I appreciate everybody coming by and watching.
All right, everyone's probably like, get to the point, guys. So
we watched a movie. That's it. See you later.
That's it. Yes. So Audie, they are talking about rebooting it. They already have a director. They have the script done. They have everything ready for that. We're going to talk more about that a little bit. Not a lot of details available, but they are looking into it. So let's see here. So when I watched it, the trailers for it were Frankenweenie and
Was it
and Who Framed Roger Rabbit, right? But then it cut into, and this is a sign of the times. That's the only reason I want to bring this up, right? Do you remember the Truth commercials about the don't smoke?
Oh yeah, it was like orange. You're like orange and like digital. Yeah.
So it was like that. You don't always die from tobacco. You can't say what the heck with a big hole in your neck. Like, if you remember those commercials, you are around my age, and and I appreciate you. Let's talk about arachnophobia. Let's finally get into the details. We've wasted enough time already. The movie opens up on that nice view of Venezuela. You see the boat going down. You see Manning going into Sands, and you see that they're getting ready to go on an expedition. Chuck, tell us about the expedition.
All right. Julian Sands plays Dr. James Atherton. He is a anthropologist, which specializes in arachnology, which I'm like, that's fake. It's real. It's a branch of anthropology that focuses directly on arachnids, on spiders and stuff like that. They are going to this special place where no one ever goes and stuff like that, on the search of maybe some species or and species of animal, insect, things like that maybe no one's ever found. And they stumble across this very unique large spider, which when he cuts that fogger on for the poison, there's no way it covered that tree that fast. It was like he goes and it starts, and then boom, there's smoke everywhere.
Yeah.
And people, the factoid about spiders that size is the reason they don't get bigger is because the exoskeletons are so heavy, it would crush the spider as it got bigger. So you have no worries, I guess, right now. And there's you're lucky because the humans have been destroying the environment so bad that a spider that size bigger couldn't survive, because that's how they take in oxygen, is through their exoskeleton. It's like through the there's not enough oxygen for a spider bigger than our largest spiders to actually survive.
So with the expedition and everything, like a couple of things that stood out to me was, one, the guy that they had, like, this is where you go, peace fuckers, I'm out. Like he dropped them out, and he dropped them off and was like, I'm gone. You may have flown me to this space on your helicopter. I don't need to ride back. I got this. And he dipped. When Manley, whatever his name was, that little jerkoid, was walking around and walks into the spider web. I don't know if anybody watching this has ever like gone four-wheeling in the woods or does like trail runs or things like that. There is nothing grosser than riding into a spider web. It's disgusting. So when they showed that scene, I was just like, I don't want to watch this. I'm already done. And then the fogger, like you said, like it just, everything, like they lit up the tree and everything just starts falling. You just can hear the ting, 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 like you hear the bugs falling. and then you hear that one loud noise, like the spider that fell the hardest, and everyone's like, "What the fuck was that?" And they go looking for it, and there's this dumb big spider just like dead because it
And I
got hit with
love
enough poison.
the fact that it was no care for anybody or anything. If this pesticide they're spraying into the trees is supposed to kill all these things, and he's just whipping it around.
Yeah,
And it's
no
like,
mask,
no
no
stand back,
gloves.
no worry. We're just going to spray this whole area with poison. I guess it's like, we're in South America. It's fine. But
I had a note for later on that I'm just gonna say now, and hopefully I remember to say it again later. But like, so they're spraying that gas with like no masks or anything. When Ross goes to the school and gives the
gloves.
physicals, no gloves.
Yeah.
He's just like, put her there, boys. Cough. He's like, you're good. Get on the field. Like, no gloves. No gloves.
The only thing that made it better is after he went.
Or that and like a slap on the ass.
Yeah.
Get out there, Tiger. Ah.
Now, did you clock this? So Jerry Manley, the photographer, that's what he's there to do, right? He's there to take pictures.
But he has
How many pictures did you ever take a picture? How many times did you ever see him take a picture? He had the
like
camera
3.
out. He was like, and something would happen, and he would never take a picture. He's like,
but he also like had no idea why he was there. He's like, what am I doing here? What am I taking pictures of? I have a stomach cold or whatever. Like, they did not prepare him at all.
Yeah, it's I don't know.
That was what got me, is he was just like, where are we going, guys? What am I taking pictures of, friends? Like,
before I left to go to South America, it would have to be a big check. Number one, if I'm going into the jungles of Venezuela.
I'm going to be honest, I'm pretty dumb. They'd be like, I'll send you to Venezuela. I'd be like, when am I leaving? Cool, let's do this. I'm dumb like that. But I would at least be like, what am I going to do when I get there? Spiders?
What am I taking pictures of? Yeah. It doesn't seem like he's too keen on bugs in the first place.
No. And then so
that's
they're
like hiring you to go shoot spiders. Like, hey, go take
with a shotgun,
spiders.
maybe. The one thing I'm afraid that they'll ruin is the sound effects for the general spider, because when they're heading out of that area, when they've got all their specimens or whatever, they're heading out, and the spider just like bloop, like jumps down, like sup, and hides. Right? I'm afraid that they would overdo that and make it corny.
Yeah.
And I would say this was a horror comedy. It's a dry comedy.
Yeah, this is when it was still weird to be a horror comedy. Like,
yeah.
Right now we embrace them. Like, we have our Tucker and Dale's versus Evil. We have our, Cabin in the Woods. We have our humor in our basic horror movies, and like early 90s and 80s and stuff. It wasn't widely accepted. Like, how they recut Evil Dead. Evil Dead was a very straight horror movie, the first one. But then they cut the second one with a few new things and added more comedy to it. And that's the one that people love and remember the most, is the second one. People love that one. And it's just, there is a fine line between humor and horror. And whenever you get it right, you have a movie that people are going to keep going back to.
Absolutely. So Manning, is it Manning or Manly?
Manly.
Okay, so
every time they said it, I remembered Manly. He's really not acting that way.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
So Manly has a little boo-boo belly. He's got a little fever. He doesn't want to be in Venezuela because he's not feeling well. So he goes to take a nap. And then he's like, ooh, something's tickling my leg. And has the most dramatic death of anybody in the movie. Like, dead. Like,
yeah, like he stands up, he's like, huh? And you're like, everybody else dies fairly quickly. Why is it taking you a second?
Yeah, dude. But I guess, who else does the general spider bite? One other person I can think of.
That gets attacked and killed by the general spider?
Yeah. Because the rest of them get bitten by the babies.
Yeah, it's the last death of the movie.
Yeah. And
it is Dr. James Atherton when he died.
So maybe I'm being a little unfair to our friend.
Yeah.
whatever. He's still a little
Maybe
weird.
it does take a while for the big guys, and the little guys are just some kind of super freak of nature.
But
type
when they
of
walk into his tent and they find him, it's not like, holy shit, there's blood dripping out of his mouth. It's, oh, well, he had a cold. He was sick anyway.
Yeah.
That
He
flu
said he had the
got
flu.
him.
It's fine.
And they send him back to the U.S. And Hungry Howie, the coroner, is just munching down. Every time he's in there, he's just like no gloves, munching down. Like,
And
oh,
why
a
is that a
dead
trope?
body. Huh.
That is a trope for a lot of coroners,
Oh, yeah.
morgue operators, that they bust in and they're just eating. They're like, oh, you know what? I'm around death all the time. This stuff doesn't gross me out. And they like set a sandwich on a dead body and they pick it up and eat it again. Or that is a trope for
No, you're
just
right.
movies in general.
You're absolutely right. Absolutely right. So he opens it up and here's this like terribly dead. My blood is gone. He's like, oh, this sucks. Like, wonder what happened here. Oh well. He's not even really phased. He's just like, meh. In a small town like that, you know that it's like they get their heart attacks, they get their strokes, they get their natural causes.
Yeah,
Like,
he
this would
blames
be
it
like
on the poor embalming practices in Venezuela.
exactly. Yeah, he
He
blames
says
it on that.
they just don't know what they're doing.
It just blew my mind that it was that easily dismissed. But yeah, I mean, he just assumed that's all it was. And holy fast turnaround time. Like that town buries people so fast. It was really impressive. Good for them.
Yeah, they're like, hey, we're putting them in the ground.
Yeah.
There is like, it doesn't really show the moment of the time lapse. Basically, it's over. I think it's around just at 20 minutes or a little bit past 20 minutes that we even meet our main character, Jeff Daniels, Dr. Ross Jennings.
They get this movie started as quickly as we get this podcast, whatever we're going to call this, started.
Yeah.
Whoops. So finally, the spider flies. The spider kills. And then you meet our happy-go-lucky pal, Ross. Ross?
Yep, Ross Jennings.
I'm terrible with names.
Now, that only reason I know is because I wrote him down to make sure, yes, that's who it is, because I'm bad with him.
And I know that. Where did I write it? Because I wrote I am him. Like him and I have the same kind of fear of spiders. The same kind of fear of like if a spider landed on me, I would just go still. I wouldn't be able to move. I can't do it. I don't know what it is. And so he tells this story about like when I was a baby, I remember a spider crawling into my crib. He was like 2 years old and the spider stepped on him and he just was paralyzed. That's the P word that Billy is talking about, is paralyzed. He was just paralyzed and could not move.
There's there's inconsistencies of that story that he tells. Because number one, he starts the story in the house and he waits for them to be out near the barn before he's like, oh yeah, here's the story. It's like, y'all been married for how long? You got 2 kids. She knows this story, right? I'm hoping she does. But then he says like, I'm 2, I'm in diapers. I'm like, I will have kids, but I'm pretty sure you should be somewhere out of that by now. You're 2.
I don't know. Uh-oh.
Oh, it's time.
I always forget to turn that damn thing off.
Are you looking
Billy,
what
age are kids out of diapers? Between 18 and 30 months. That's over the 2 threshold.
Yeah, I guess. But anyway, sorry.
No. Because plus, how did he remember it when he was that old? Like,
yeah. Well,
it scarred him, is what he says.
He says that it shouldn't, but he remembers, like, at that young, that this is what happened.
Yeah. But I get that, and I respect that. Like, I don't know why I'm so scared of spiders. Like, I don't know where that fear really came from. But it had to have been, like, snakes. The reason I'm terrified of snakes is when I was always afraid of them. Because we were visiting my great-grandpa in West Virginia, and there was a copperhead under these the car ramps.
Mm.
My grandpa was going to change our oil before we left, and he went to get them, and he lifted it up, and the copperhead was there, right? but it had just given birth, so it was like groggy or some shit. I don't know, and it didn't strike him. Had it not just given birth, it probably would have struck, is what the family said. I don't know. Not long after that, we were shopping, and my dad somehow got like a fake snake in my coat pocket. And I reached in my pocket and pulled it out, and I guess I screamed, just bloody murder, just screamed, and threw it and ran. And I've been afraid of spiders ever since, or of snakes ever since. Snakes and spiders, I will get paralyzed of fear. If you have a fear, anybody who's still here, drop it in the comments. I want to know what you're terrified of.
Well, I don't have the whole spider and snake thing or bugs. I don't want them on me. Like, I prefer not to have a spider drop on my face, but it's not like it's going to stop me from doing anything or killing it or tossing it out or whatever. Mine's this, like public speaking, especially reading out loud. Like, I remember, high school, junior high and high school and elementary, all through school, whenever they did the reading around the room. Like, hey, in history today, everybody's going to take a paragraph. So I would sit, and I've heard people's stories too, and I did this. You count how many kids there are, and then you count how many paragraphs. So you don't listen to anything they're saying, because you're reading that paragraph over and over. So whenever it's called on you, you're not like, and and you're like, oh, he's stupid. He's stupid, guys. He ain't going nowhere in life. He's stupid.
Yeah, I remember those days for sure.
So doing this and like how we've been doing the convention, I've had to come out more as in public speaking. I still hate it and get terrible bubble guts before I do it, but it is what it is.
Well, so he explains how he's that terrified of spiders, and his wife takes him to the barn where she had taken pictures earlier that day. You got to see this. It's like therapy. He's a doctor and a grown-ass man. He knows what therapy is. If he wanted it, he would have gotten it the right way. But he decides to soldier on. Now, this is what gets me. This is one thing that pissed me off about this whole movie. This is like a big scene, right? He climbs up the ladder. He falls off the ladder. And she has the pictures that she took earlier in the day. So the spider web should have been ingrained in his mind. The pictures are hanging in his office eventually. And throughout this whole movie, when shit's going down, he never once thinks, that's weird. There's a huge spider web overtaking the entire upper attic of my barn. I wonder if we should go check there. It never crosses his mind.
Yeah, whenever they think it's spiders. They're like, oh, things are getting weird. People are dying. And you're like, oh, okay. And he's like, well, there could be this whole spider thing. Not earlier did he, have that, like exactly what you pointed out. All like, the interaction with the web, seeing the web, the pictures, and it takes Julian Sands pointing it out. Well, where's this at? Oh, that's the book. You're dumb. You're dumb. How are you a doctor?
And his wife, like his wife pissed me off because she kept saying she would do things and then just didn't. I'll call an exterminator, sweetheart. Didn't. And it was also funny, like, they did this foreshadowing thing so many times throughout the movie, like with that wine or whatever the alcohol was that the mover was bringing in, how expensive it was, and then talking about like the floor rotting and when he's working on the wine cellar and shit like that. They referenced like all the expensive wines so many times throughout the movie that that wine is going to somehow be destroyed, or a portion of where they're going to end the movie. Like, they just lead right up to it.
Yeah, I really like when Delbert is checking for termites. And she's like, well, what'd I do? He's like, well, it's bad wood. Take out. Replace with good wood. You're like, that's the most caveman answer, but he's right. You should take it out and replace it with good wood. That's the issue.
I wrote that down, and it's one of my favorite lines of the movie.
Yeah.
Like, you got
and then
wood.
He's like, seems like your husband collects I think it was like a Miller's something misprint you might want to take a gander at.
Yep.
It's like, yeah, because those two things are like collecting very expensive wines and a beer misprint label.
And
is,
Goodman did such an amazing job with that role. So good. Delbert was an amazing character. The only reason he got that role was because Steven Spielberg was like, I'll be executive producer if you do him instead of John Candy. John Candy was who they wanted in that role.
Yeah, Frank Marshall, the director, he that's who he had in mind with John Candy. That's who he wanted. And then Spielberg came in and was like, "Hey, I want Goodman. We just wrapped a movie together. I liked working with him, and just so happened Frank Marshall worked on that same movie, and he's like, I liked working with him too. So they were like, yeah, let's bring him in.
Yeah.
There's even this one thing where Goodman tells a story about how he's in the van, and Spielberg is actually down in the passenger seat of the van, telling him that he's like, while they're filming, he looks at him and whispers, he's like, "You're the only one that will ever know I was here." So I don't know how true that is, but that's it. So yeah, I have all the deaths marked down in order. So I do have a kill count.
Let's
I'm
hear
taking
it.
James A. Janice's job from Dead Meat and doing a kill count on Arachnophobia. It's
All right.
7.
Do you want to throw it out now, or how do you want to do it?
I just did it. It's 7.
Oh, but who though?
We have our number 1 victim, Jerry Manley.
Rip.
And then we have Margaret Hollins, the older lady.
And that's about where we're at with what we're talking about. So
Yeah.
the neighbor, the widow, she was so kind to Ross when he moved to town, like argued with the cop on his behalf to not get a ticket, like was really trying to help him out. And he knew she was healthy, and this is really what like gets him to understand something weird's going on, right? She's like, I'm going to throw a party for you. She was a sweet old gal,
Yeah.
Lucky
I don't know how she got all the money she had. Because when you look at the party she threw, I mean, there is white glove caterers, very nice china. You got all these people, hustle bustle around the kitchen and serve. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure her husband was some kind of tobacco landowner type of a guy to be like, look at all my money.
And you can't say what the heck with the big.
That's why they had to put the truth.
Can't
the truth
always
everywhere. Yeah.
die from tobacco.
Yeah. Heights. I don't have a problem with heights. Side hustle here has a problem with heights.
I do want to see that movie fall though.
Where was I? But it don't really express the movement of time. But supposedly, from when she first meets him as her primary doctor to the party, it's supposed to be a month.
Yeah, they did a terrible job of staging time throughout this movie.
And that's how, when she puts the spider in the barn, the spider mates with the general spider. They make the babies. All that seems very quick, but it's actually supposed to be like a month and something. All this takes place.
Right. Because that did throw me too. Because I was like, wait a minute, how is this happening so fast? And
yeah, if you didn't hear her say that when he was walking her to the car, then you would never known a month had went by. You would think it was just like a few days, and then they had the party, and then a few days, and then murder, and then murder, and then murder, or death. Not really murder.
It was. I mean, it was murder. Fuck them spiders. Yeah. Because I wrote down like, what is the incubation time on spider eggs? Trying to figure out like.
Yeah, I know cats can have like 3 to 4 litters a year. So that's a pretty quick turnaround for cats. I'm sure insects are fairly quick. Are you looking it up?
Yeah. I've never had cats, so I don't know.
I don't like cats. I'm a dog person. I really do not like cats, but I have strays, and then somebody dropped off some more strays, and then they just kind of keep popping up more and more. And Big John's sister does a animal charity with cats and stuff like that. And I asked her one day, I was like, what is it like? How many litters can they have? She's like 3 to 4, depending on their age and stuff. I'm like,
gross.
That's too many cats.
It was the driest like one line when he was walking away with her and they were talking about like, what's he gonna do now? He just gave up everything to move to small town nowhere. What's he gonna do? And she's like, kill him. or he says kill him. One of them says, like, this movie had so many just dry one-liners that were so good. They were perfect. And then you get that Charlotte's Web moment. You meet the new neighbor, the obnoxious Bunny, the neighbor who runs off like, let's go blow up bullfrogs.
Yeah, I think they've done like 2. She did 2 movies.
Back to the Future 2. She was.
Yep, and that was it. I try to look her IMDb up to see what she looks like now or anything like that, and there's just nothing.
It's so when they're at the party, neopatism, huh? And they're like, actually, we're Baptists, and just
nepotism,
that's it, nepotism. Actually, we're Baptists, and they just like, okay, cool. And that was Mimi. Mimi's married to the coroner, so you see they're like their goofy relationship.
It's just funny because I remember watching, Arachnophobia and then forgetting about it. And then you see the Drew Carey show and all that other stuff, and then you go back and watch it, you're like, it's fucking Mimi from the Drew Carey show. Mimi.
I actually found a Mimi and Drew Carey like action figure set today at the exchange, and I was like, man, I should get that and redesign it to be Arachnophobia action figures with the
make, if it's Drew. I mean, Drew's kind of a tubby guy. You can make him Irv.
Yeah, exactly. Husband, yeah, that was always eating ready for the autopsies. So she's getting ready to go to bed after the party. She gets everybody out of the house. She doesn't let any boys spend the night, which is weird because it's like, you just do this big party, lady, like live it up. And then you get the spider coming after the cat. The spiders, this is like the second cat they just had to terrorize.
Yeah.
She puts the cat outside for the night, reaches to turn off the light, dead. And everyone's like, what? She was so healthy. But you have this new doctor in town that nobody knows, nobody trusts yet.
Nobody took her off her high blood pressure medicine.
Exactly.
She didn't need it.
So they're like, it was a heart attack. She's fine. Bury her. Boom, buried. That's it. Just boom, buried. It blew my mind how quick they were able to do that. And Ross was just like, no, we need to figure this out. Like, she bit her tongue off. It wasn't a heart attack. Yeah. Yeah, she bit her tongue off. Like, it doesn't make any sense. Like, how that doesn't happen with a heart attack. And then it's like he tries to go about his daily life. I think it was that morning, like before he finds out she's dead, that he's like fixing the floorboards. And they come to find out
and almost jams it through his wife and his kid.
And he says something about how termites were to blame. And that's the first sign that his wife is a jerk, because even though that spider web was happening, she had yet to call an exterminator. She sucks. She sucks.
And then you had her call Delbert's God, what is it? Bug, and I didn't write it down.
Bugs be gone.
Yeah. Because I've always said, I'm like, if I'm a very close to body type cosplayer. Like, if you want to be 300 pounds and cosplay as Cloud from Final Fantasy VII, go for it, man. But I'm not going to do it. That is just not who I am. So when I saw Delbert, and like, I was like, you know what? I could be Delbert. I can cosplay Delbert and go to conventions.
Absolutely.
Like, I could pull that off easy. And right here in the comments, listen, we told you to watch it before you came, man.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, you should have already watched it.
This is on you. We already gave away the copy, so if that's what you came for, you can come over and watch with me sometime.
You had him come in and say, oh, take out bad wood, put in good wood, and it's not termites and stuff like that. And he's just very, I don't know how to describe him. He's educated country.
I get it. Yeah.
That's fair. Yeah, like, it's that I know things type of a country guy and stuff. Like, oh, did you
Yeah.
But
and I love that about him.
Yeah.
And then that's
I like the way he played him too. He was just like, like I don't know. It doesn't seem like he made jokes. Like, the stuff he said was funny sometimes, but he wasn't trying to be.
And it's like from here, the movie just starts picking up. Like, now you have like the no crickets. Now you have like Bunny's dad is, hey, come be our doctor at the school, help me out with this. And he goes and
What's so weird? It's at the funeral. It's at the funeral for
yeah,
Margaret. He's like, hey, let me throw some business your way since your only patient just died. And he's like, well, he could have said that a little louder about,
yeah,
the only patient I have dying. And he's like, come and give,
Dr.
he
Death.
tells him, he don't say what he's going to do. He just says, come on out to the football field. He didn't say come out and squeeze some young boy balls. So,
all right, Edgar.
clip that for your show. Clip that for the next, trailer you do for the video.
I don't know if I can do that one. I'll try. I'll see what I can come up with.
Yeah.
But it's true. Without gloves, mind you. Keep that in mind. Without gloves. And then they go out on the field. I didn't see him wash his hands. And shit gets real. Shit gets real.
Yes, Lee, we're still going.
So the player gets out there, he picks up his helmet, puts it on, starts running all of a sudden and dead.
Yeah.
Of course, everyone's gonna think concussion, something bad like that. But the doctor's like, wait a second. I just had his manhood in my hand and he was fine. Something's going on here. We need some autopsies. But in a small town, no one wants like the body's all cut up and shit. No one wants to allow that.
And that was Todd Miller. That our third victim of the movie is Todd Miller.
Did he go on to do anything else? Is that the character name or the actor's name?
That's the character name.
Okay. I didn't recognize the actors. So
a lot of the actors, like your big names, like I said, you had your Jeff Daniels, your John Goodman, your Julian Sands and stuff like that. They went on to do more stuff, but a lot of these side characters, like Todd Miller, your bunnies, stuff like that, the feller's daughter from the shower, like they really didn't do anything after stuff like that. But yeah, he goes down, and then Jennings gets a nickname, Dr. Death.
Yep, there it is. And it's like that night or the night after or something that his daughter goes over and spends the night at the coach's family's house with Bunny.
Yeah, well, okay. I was reading a comment. I don't think it was that night. Like I said, they do such a bad job of showing how many days have passed to see if.
Yeah, no, that's fair. That's fair. Horror Man Joe. What do you mean by corner? I want to follow up on that. That's what I saw. And that's what I was
getting confused on. Sorry.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, same actor to give Arnold the pill in Total Recall. You're right. I didn't put that together before, but no, absolutely right. Horror Man Joe and I have this. This is a bold statement because this isn't necessarily true, but I'm gonna say a love for Arnold Schwarzenegger movies because Horror Man Joe is also a huge fan of Predator, and him remembering that from Total Recall, I'm just gonna assume means that he is a fan of anything Arnold Schwarzenegger, and I stand for that because Running Man, Total Recall, Predator, I'm down with it. So they're having the girls' night. They're spending the night over there. Dad's already getting a little worried. He tells them, like, stay away from spiders. If you see spiders, run, blah, and all that fun stuff. And they are being too loud, so the sister scolds them. And they drop the book. And
there is
one down.
Yeah, there is one more death before that happened.
Who died before that?
Dr. Sam.
Dr.
Sam He dies, and that's when they find out that because his wife saw the spider run out from the shoe whenever he said, "Oh, damn thing bit my toe."
Yeah, no, you're right.
And he throws it down. He's like, "It looked like a spider." He's like, "It was a cougar or a wildcat or something along those lines." And then that's what's so weird is that it dropped. I guess it's all about placement of the spider bite. Is that we saw Manly. I guess he got bit maybe on the leg. He died very quickly.
But again,
Margaret
didn't he get bit by the general?
Yeah, he got bit by the big guy. But then Margaret got bit by the little one, died quick. Todd Miller, very young man, but it was on the back of the neck or side of the neck right here. He died very quickly. He dropped. But it seems like this very old man survived long enough to have a conversation for a few seconds and then died.
And he didn't panic though.
Yeah, he was just sitting
Because
there
he was like,
"Ugh."
I'm gonna have a seizure. This is what's
Yeah.
happening. Like he kind of talked himself through it and like didn't panic. I doubt that really means anything, but that's what I took from it. Because I noticed that too, that he was like the first one to like have like awareness of the situation, awareness of what was going on.
Yeah, and he got bit the toe. His wife, because I thought in my mind, I don't know why, when I was rewatching it, I felt like she died too, but she didn't.
Right.
She scrambled. She was like, "Oh, spider, I'm out," and she went to go, call help and get out. But she explains that she saw the spider, and we never see her again. We never see any hide or hair of Grandma Gilmore again. So
No, you're right. Yeah, gone.
yeah. If you dig, I'm pretty sure that's the one that plays Happy Gilmore's grandma.
Yeah, I knew I recognized her.
Yeah, and then she's also the meatball lady from the wedding singer
Mhm.
where he's giving the singing lessons to.
Yep.
No, it's not. That's not her. Is it? No. She does play the grandma, but not the singer. Yeah. But he dies, and that's what gives him the lead to spiders, and that's when he's like, girls.
Yeah, and everything just starts unraveling from there. Because it's like maybe time, we'll go back to that whole time statement. But it's also, I feel like that's about the time that you almost lose sight of his family too. Because it seems like all of a sudden, you don't know where his family is at this point. Like the daughter clearly goes home from the sleepover. Bunny's sister goes to take a shower. Now, let's talk about the shower scene. As two grown men, let's talk about the shower scene. Young Josh, when he saw this movie, should have been able to be like, hell yeah. Yes, this is great. It's a girl taking a shower. But no. Instead, you have a spider that decides he wants to enjoy the girl in the shower, and young Josh couldn't because he was like, girl in the shower, get out of the way, there's a spider. It was worse than the Psycho scene.
Well, not having an issue with spiders, I was still like, girl in the shower.
I couldn't do it. Like, and so if someone were to be like, what is the most iconic shower scene in a horror movie? I'd be like Arachnophobia. I'd be like, no, Josh, you're wrong. It's Psycho. No. Arachnophobia, man. Like that is terrible.
Well, both of them are pretty solid fears because there's been instances in your showering life where you're showering, you lather up that handsome mullet and beard you got there, and you got soap in your eyes, and you think you hear something, and that split second in your head, you're like, somebody's going to rip back this curtain.
Right.
Kill my ass. I'm dead. But there is also that realism of that realism of you putting your hand up and how all the time you open up your curtain and there's spiders in the shower. Like there's, it takes no time for there's little bitty, real thin house spiders to make a little web near a faucet or something like that, or the corner of a shower, and you gotta dust them out.
And it was also weird because like up to that point, the spiders were so quick to bite. And then you had that one, and it's just like, I'm gonna enjoy this. It doesn't bite.
So the spider was a pervert.
The spider was a pervert. He didn't want to sink his teeth in just yet. He wanted to romance her a little bit.
And I don't know how true that is. Like, I've seen spiders hang on pretty good, and I don't know how easy it would be because it just slid.
Yeah.
All out. Like, I don't know. Like, it should have been able to hook to something.
You would think. And it's like, so there's so many pieces falling into place at this point. Like you have that spider and the girl sees it. The doctor was able to tell his wife, I got bit by a spider. So now Ross is on top of the spider and he's calling around trying to figure things out. You have like the visual on the egg sac, and the queen is going to place the egg sac or whatever.
Yeah.
Like there's so much happening all over this movie right now that everything's really starting to align for the climax to it. And it's about this time that Allerton gets connected. So you get the reintroduction of Julian Sands to come back into the movie as the expert once again. He's back from Venezuela. He's back to California. and he sends his assistant. I'm too busy. I can't handle this. In his office, he has one of the other spiders that he's like feeding. He like threw a bug in there, tapped on the web so the spider would come out. So it's showing you there's other spiders in the States. What's going to happen? So clearly, assistant gets there, sees the dead bodies, another eating coroner scene.
There is a little thing. You have to stop it to see it. You have to pause it. When Dr. Jennings is sitting down and he's going through the list of anthropologists to contact for spiders that are in the area. They're in the California area. And at the top of the list is Dr. James Atherton, Julian Sand's character. But if you look, I think it's either fourth or fifth down, there is a anthropologist by the name of Stephen R. Kutcher. And that is like the anthropologist or whatever. He is actually the one that did all the general spider handling.
Oh,
He's
really?
the anthropologist that was on hand that took care of and worked with the tarantula they used for the general spider and stuff like that.
That's wild. I know. I never would have caught that. That's crazy.
Yeah.
So the assistant shows up. He starts like looking at everything. What's going on? How do we go about this? They don't take it seriously, and then they start putting the pieces together. Like Allerton needs to get there. They're searching the widow's house, trying to find the spider. Deputy dumbass like goes in. He's like eating out of the cereal box and finds like a dead spider, and that's like their first positive note. Like they're dying. They have a short lifespan. Everything might be okay. But then they find the living specimen in the home. And it's up to Ross, who's terrified of spiders, and the assistant to trap that motherfucker.
Which I don't think that's true. What the assistant says,
dude, no.
About the fight or flight, and then how there's a chemical that's released by our brain to allows us to handle it. I'm pretty sure that's false.
There's no way. And if it would have been amazing if they were just like, if he went towards the spider and the spider just leapt. But even the way the spider moves, like no, spiders don't do that. Spiders don't do that. That's stupid.
Yeah, they had that very unique look, the spiders did, because they were part of the crab spider family.
So
that's why like they had that like skitter, like side to side type thing. But yeah, they find our victim number 5 and 6 are the Kindles.
Rest in peace, spider out the nose. Always check your popcorn.
Irv and Blair.
That was an adorable one. And that's about the time that can't think of his name now. That's about the time that John Goodman's like back with like he meets up with them. Delbert. Like, hey, yeah, is after they leave the coroner's house. That's when he really meets back up with them. Like, I have these new chemicals. Like, something's going on. The spiders are going crazy.
Yeah, we're getting to the final wrap up of the movie of like the Julian Sand's assistant contacting. He's like, "Hey, man, we have a specimen. This is something like it's a spider I've never seen before type of situation." So he makes his way down there. They draw from the poison sac of one of the dead spiders and injects it into a mouse, and it dies instantly. And they're like, "Okay, we got to find these things." And they think, where do they think it's at? Where do they go? I can't remember where they go first. Because they leave to go somewhere. I don't know why I'm blanking on it. But it's when Julian Sand sees that, because it's the sheriff and Dr. Atherton.
Yeah.
He sees the pictures. Where's this? He's like, oh
yeah.
That's the old, I think he calls it the Daniels place. Yeah. He says it's the old Daniels place. The doctor had bought it. He's like, this is it. He's like, I need to see this. So they take him out there.
Right. And they get him out there, and that's like he climbs up, he finds the mouse, and the general just like bites his face off, basically. Like jumps from the rafters, takes him down.
Yeah.
And
Okay. After like right when he goes in, he tells the sheriff. And the sheriff
yeah.
says he's gonna go. Okay, right there, we never see the sheriff again, right? It's the actor that played the sheriff actually talks about it, and it bums me out because I wish Shout Factory would do it. They filmed the scene, but they never put it in the movie at all. Technically, there is a kill count of 8, not 7,
Mhm.
because there was supposed to be tiny, like, there was spiders in the cop car that bit the police officer and made it crash, and he died. But they never talk about it. It was shot and never actually put into the movie. It didn't make the cut. So actually, so the sheriff is dead
Yes.
by the spiders. So you probably have that in your
You
notes.
you told me this. I didn't
Okay.
catch anywhere. You told me about that. And everything just shit just hits the fan at this point. Like Ross realizes he needs to get home to his family. And I'm over here watching the movie like, what happened to his family? Like, where are these idiots? And it's all downhill from there. Like Julian climbs the ladder, he's gone. Ross goes into the house, and all of a sudden it's just bleeding spiders. Like spiders are everywhere. They're crawling down the TV. He Stu Mockers them, like drops the TV down on them, the crushes them. They try to go out the front door. They're everywhere. What is the deal with those spiders that none of them bite? They're just like
I don't know
they're
how.
trying to trap them
Yeah,
in the house. I feel like they tried to explain it, and I
I don't.
didn't understand it. Or they're swarming and not biting, and they
They
can't.
shouldn't be. Yeah, they should. They should be biting, but because they did explain that in the main nest where you're going to find the general and then the queen with the egg sac.
Right. None of those spiders could go down to the
Yeah,
main nest.
they would be none. There'd be no small spiders. So with that happening, um, it doesn't make sense that they would just swarm and not bite. I guess it was just a story point of like, hey,
Ugh. But they get trapped in the bathroom, they're trying to go out, the spiders are coming like through the doorknobs, through the sink, down the walls, like coming down the windows. And he finally like goes for it and crashes through the floor that his wife did not do anything about. And he's in
didn't
the
put good
basement.
wood in.
Didn't put good wood, stuck with the bad. And then he lands in the basement just like, I didn't break a bone. That's cool. What
Yeah,
am I
like
gonna do
that was
now?
that was a 3-story. Like that was from the top.
Yeah.
I have to make sure the door's unlocked. Chesley's on her way home, so I'll be right back.
Alrighty. Intermission. Anybody still in the comments that wants to say hello, drop your thoughts on the movie, anything at all, we're here for it. My dog is upstairs crying at the door because I kicked him out. I hate doing it, but with his cough, I just don't have a choice. So we did have the poll for the next movie that we're going to do. We do have another announcement about that. And we're just starting out with this. So we're still trying to like get everything down, make sure that we have a right approach to it. We're always down for suggestions. Feel free to reach out to Chuck, to me, talk to us, let us know what you think, what we can do differently, or however, we want to keep you engaged. Like, we want to turn this into something fun that we can all look forward to. Starting with this movie was kind of just like we knew it'd be fun because I hated it so much and Chuck loved it so much. At the end of the day, like I do enjoy the movie. I think it was fun. It really does kind of show you where that like transition between straight up horror and the horror comedy really started to happen and come to life and be appreciated, because I feel like before this movie there really wasn't a lot of horror comedies. With just like the dry one-liners, like you may argue that this wasn't a horror comedy. I disagree. I think the one-liners in this movie were fantastic. And I think that there was just so much fun with it. Even just something as simple as his wife tells him the night they move, or he tells his wife the night they move in, that it's like tradition. If you want good luck, you have to do it the first night you're in the house. Because earlier in the day, she had told him, like, it's tradition. If you want good luck, you can't kill a spider in the house or whatever. Just stuff like that. Like, it was a really cute, fun movie. The next movie we're doing, I don't really know much about it, to be completely honest with you. But you jerks picked it, and I'm grateful for every single one of you. I am looking forward to it, but I don't know exactly what to expect. Fortress did not win, but I'm going to try to make sure that we're able to slip that in somewhere, because it's one of my favorites. Side Hustle Cinema. I've never seen Eight-Legged Freaks, to be honest with you. I remember when it came out, I remember like the poster for it. It wasn't David Arquette. Is that like the main actor from it? But I never saw it.
Yes.
Oh, you're back. Could you hear me the whole time?
Yeah, I have my not sponsored by Raycons in, so I couldn't speak because I have this as my default, but I could hear the whole time.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, Dave Arquette was the lead in that. And going back to your making love the first night in a new home, just so happens that Spider got relocated to the barn, and that was the first night the General Spider landed in that barn. So it technically was their first night in their new home. So
you blew it. I was looking something up because I'm terrible with names. Side Hustle Cinema, is that who has the Shining print in the background? If you don't remember, he may tell me. It is. I just hovered over it. Love that background. We've already talked about it. You don't gotta tell me how you did it. You've already done that. Love the background. Just wanted to point that out. Anyway, so
all right. So
Torman Joe says, please do Fortress. So that's 10 extra votes for Fortress.
Oh, okay. That still wouldn't beat the beat the votes for.
It's gonna happen. That's gonna be my birthday one. So he falls into the basement. The egg sack's down there. They gotta protect it. So the queen's there, and the queen isn't really that like scary, all powerful. It's not the general, right?
Yeah. The first one to attack is the general.
Oh, is it the general?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because as the one that's, he lands in the basement. He takes him a second. He's like, he starts freaking out after he figures out he's not shattered into a million pieces after falling from the second floor to the first floor through the floor into the basement onto hard ground. And him being fine, he notices that he freaks out trying to get any kind of spiders off, and he realizes there's none on him and there's none around. And then he remembers what they told him about, and he lists it off. He's like dark, humid, and stuff like that, and no other spiders around. So he figures it out then, and that's when him and the general tangle, and he knocks him into the breaker box.
Right. So then how's the queen such a badass?
I have no idea.
Really?
And then the queen, I'm pretty sure it's the queen, because they're both large spiders that he fights.
Yeah.
And I would figure it would be the general first, and then the queen, because the queen was the one, around and protecting the egg sac, I'm pretty sure.
Looking this up. Here we go. References, remake, merchandising. There's a video game that was released in 1991.
Yeah, I think you played Delbert, and you're supposed to like kill the spiders or something like that.
Really?
Yeah.
That actually sounds fun when you say you're playing Delbert. Production. That's not telling me anything. It was the queen that got electrocuted.
Okay.
Yeah, so he electrocutes the queen.
And the big one he had to tangle with the longest was the general.
Yeah. For Great Low. Wait, what is it? For. Hold on. Never mind. It's not worth it. Yeah, so the general comes in. He's hunting down the general. General like hides in a pipe. He's throwing bottles and shit at it. Hides in the pipe. He has like the spray paint or whatever, shooting fire at it.
He was directed to throw those bottles near the animatronic spider. Yeah. And not at it.
Right.
He just manages to like miss it by a few feet every time he throws one. So it's not that he's a bad thrower. He was meant to miss.
He did as he was told.
Yeah.
And
but apparently it was expensive and a pain to make or something. So.
And designed by the mustachioed gentleman behind Mythbusters.
Yeah. Jamie Heyman.
As Steven
Heyman
revealed earlier on. And so the final, like, shooting the fire, catching it on fire, and then lighting the egg sack on fire, like, all of that, just like, ugh. It was a great conclusion to it. Like,
the hero beats the monster and saves the day.
Yeah, and the guy who was terrified of spiders, so he got over it. Like, but everyone was just like, "Fuck you, Ross. We're out." Like, it just did not care. So when I wrote down, these are my top 5 favorite jump scares from it. Okay, so when Manly is taking the pictures and the spider jumps at the camera, that was my number 5. The spider coming out of the nose was number 4.
Yeah, that was the one.
The spider in the shower was number 3. The house bleeding spiders in the bathroom. And then number 1 was the general jumping out of the water spout at him.
Yeah.
Like, I thought that was very well done.
I like that you went behind and you made your own little list of, hey, these are jump scares that I enjoyed.
I enjoyed them. I thought it was great. And that's the movie, friends. That was the 7. We'll say 7.5 since the one got cut. How quiet am I right now?
I can still kind of hear you.
The 7.5 since one got cut. That was the movie. I mean, again, would I watch it again? When the girls get older, if the girls are like, "Hey, let's watch Arachnophobia," I'll be like, "All right."
Remember you and Chuck's very first discussion on Arachnophobia, and then y'all quit.
Yeah, and then I'll make them watch
it.
this. They told me to tell you hi, by the way.
Oh well, you tell them I said hi.
I will. But yeah, man, like it wasn't a terrible movie. So about the remake, what they want to do with the remake, and like I said, I could only find like one article about this. So if you Google it, you're gonna read exactly what I'm talking about right now. In the earlier discussion, Chuck, you had said you weren't looking forward to a remake because they would do too much CGI, too much computer to it, and ruin the spiders.
Yeah, it's just too much money and hassle for them to actually. This is what I'm thinking. You know, they might be like, "Hey, we're going to be traditional." I'm thinking it's a lot cheaper for them to digitally go in and be like, "Spider," and just make people look at green X's on the ground or something, and be like, "That's where it's going to be. Be scared."
And that is exactly what I thought too. But so they have Christopher Landon, I think it is, who did Happy Death Day and Freaky. Shout out to Mentage Authentics, who is currently doing pre-orders for the Jessica Roth of Happy Death Day.
Yeah, and it says that they're also doing a signing with Rob
Mello. Yeah,
that was the baby face killer.
He was in the face reveal of the baby face killer.
Yeah. He's one. Yeah, that's who you would say. Okay, that's him.
Yeah.
And just throwing this out there, since you're throwing out, mentioned BAM is doing their mystery box. They're plus, and everybody's trying to guess who it is. It's not the Battered and Bruised one that's going to be coming out at the end of this month or something. It's the one they have up now, and they just announced, "Oh, we have a mask signed by a dual sign." It's going to be those two.
I think it's those two.
It's 100%.
Hi, Jamie. What's up, buddy? I think it's going to be those two as well.
Yeah.
But so he has signed on to write and direct the new Arachnophobia movie. The script is done. He wants it to happen. He has already met with spider wranglers. He's already working on using legitimate spiders to do this movie. Yeah, so I thought you would appreciate that. But here's the thing. He himself is terrified of spiders. He claims to be terrified of spiders. So does that make him the best person to do this movie or the worst? I think it's actually great that he's afraid of spiders because it's going to help put like such a spin on it of, well, that would scare me, so put it in the movie. I think it could be really beneficial for him to be arachnophobic.
Yeah. Yeah, it'll work out. It'd be a good way to do all that. Is that like he could introduce his fear to things and be like, this is what I'm afraid of. Let's stick it in the movie. This works.
Oh man,
I think we need to wrap it up if we're done.
I think so. It's
an hour 30.
So I got distracted. All right, sorry about that. Yeah, I mean, I think that there's promise to the remake. I think that we could see what happens. So what's next for Movies and Mayhem? What are we gonna do next? We are going to come back on the first Saturday of the next month. Is that what we're doing?
Yeah, I'm gonna let you wrap it up for a second. I have to go to the restroom.
All right, cool. So he's gonna run and do the restroom. We're going to come back on the first Saturday of the next month. We're going to announce what the next movie we're going to do is, all of that fun stuff. Side Hustle, let's wait for him to come back and we'll answer that because I want to hear what he says. I want to hear what he says. He's going to be able to answer that better than I can. When we come back, we'll talk about, when we come back at the first Saturday next month, we're going to talk about the movie we're going to do next. We're going to change things up just a little slightly. I think that maybe you'll appreciate it. But kind of go from there and see what's going to happen with how we can really keep this going and keep things smoothly rolling without me getting too distracted every time I look away. Side Hustle, give us some options here. What are you also love Kingdom of Spiders? If I hit show here. Yeah. Tell me more about this. What other options do we have? I'm trying to Google all the spider movies I can now. I honestly can't think of any other spider ones that I've seen because I just don't want to. Eight-Legged Freaks. What's up, Fallon? How you doing? Eight-Legged Freaks. I think I need to see that one. It sounds like Side Hustle, you called that one out. That's the second one we've seen for Eight-Legged Freaks. So that might need to happen. Pow. All right. So horror movies about spiders. We got Itsy Bitsy, Arachnophobia, spiders, big ass spider, possum, arachnid. Man, there are so many that just look terrible. Camel spiders. That one looks really familiar, but I know I've never seen it. I just recognize. Here we go. This is a classic. Are you ready? I've never seen this. 1967 black comedy horror film written and directed by Jack Hill with Lon Chaney Jr. as Bruno, the chauffeur and caretaker of 3 orphan siblings who suffer from a genetic condition starting in early puberty that causes them to regress mentally. Spider Baby, starring Sid Haig. I don't think it's anything about spiders, though. Welcome back, sir. I highlighted this question for you.
Oh yeah,
because it was more for you than me.
What?
You can hear that.
What? Wow, I told him I was using the restroom. Chester let me know I could hear the toilet flush. I was like, well,
Yeah.
listen, I had an upset stomach today, so. What does Arachnophobia rank among other spider movies? I've never seen Kingdom of Spiders, but I would say straight spider movies. It's probably my favorite. And it's like right up there with Eight-Legged Freaks. Like if you want to go big, ridiculous spiders. Can you still hear me good?
Yeah.
Okay. If you want to go big, ridiculous spiders, Eight-Legged Freaks is the way to go. It's a fun, goofy movie. But if you're like, that's more comedy to me, not horror. Like there's horror in it because of the monsters and stuff like that, and the spider, but it's more heavy-handed with the comedy. A good mixture of horror and comedy is Arachnophobia, so I would rank that probably as my number one. Big Ass Spider is fun. I can't remember the fellow's name that's in it because he was also in the show Heroes, but he plays the exterminator that gets bit by a black widow and has to go to the hospital, and that's kind of like where the movie takes place, is inside the hospital. So, but yeah, did you want to talk about next month's or anything, or we just?
I mean, there's 5 people watching. We can give
wait.
them a little sneak thought on what it is. And then just promise not to say anything until after we go live again. Are we good with that?
Yeah, I mean we can say the plan of what we're gonna do and not just give the movies away.
So this is a sneak thing, right? So tell all your friends. Let's see how this goes. If you're still watching, give us some feedback here. We want to do 2 movies because we feel like there's too much downtime between us coming and talking to you. So we'll come live at the beginning of the month and talk about, this is the first one we're going to do. We'll come and talk about that movie. Hopefully more. Wait, let me rephrase that. We'll be quicker about it. I stalled in the beginning because I wanted to give people time to join in. I think I stalled us too much. So that's on me. But getting to the point a lot more quickly. And then do 2 movies instead of 1. That way we're talking more. We're getting to get this back and forth. So if that's something you think sounds good, please drop a comment. Let us know. Shoot us a message, on our socials, whatever. Like we want this to be interactive. That's why we do the polls. Like we want to keep this going. Yeah,
like I would love to have I have a list here of movies. Like like we talked about how we wanted to do movies that were not like real mainstream, like your Nightmare on Elm Street, your Friday 13th, your Child's Play. What is it? And try to state that, like Arachnophobia. Some people may have heard of it, some people may have not, and then people are like, "Oh, I want to revisit it because I kind of remember it, want to rewatch it." So I would love to have more movie suggestions. I have that list. Josh has his list. I'd love to have some more on there, and we'd like to put up at least 5 movies a month to get chosen from, and then hopefully do 2 movies a month where we would announce it early. Like do our best to go live on like the first Saturday as close as we could, or even on the 1st. Like if we can, like if it's on a Wednesday or Thursday or something, we can do like a real quick 30-minute. Hey, this is what we're watching, and then be able to watch the movies and do 2 a month because we enjoy going live, even if people are like, "Hey, you guys kind of suck." We like it.
We haven't heard that yet, though. So
Yeah.
if you want to be the first to tell us we suck, now's your chance.
Yeah. I was just waiting for Chesley to pop her head in and say you suck, just so she can be the first.
Chesley, if you can send me like a clip of you saying, "Hey, you suck," I'm gonna stitch it into this.
Yeah.
And
He's video clip. He just pop in here and say we suck on the camera.
Can I wear my vampire fangs?
Sure. Why do you have your vampire fangs?
Suck.
Oh. Do you have them? Oh, in the video, yeah, that's fine. Oh no, she ain't coming.
Oh, okay.
She's just standing in the doorway
Whoa,
looking
what
at
did I do?
you zoomed it. There you go. You what?
I changed my clothes. I can't be in camera.
Oh, okay. You having fun, Josh?
I am, yeah. A lot of fun. But yeah, so that's the plan. I love that so much. It's perfect. That's the plan. To come back and do the 2 next month. I'm looking forward to it. The next movie, I looked for it. Is it hard to find, Chuck?
Which one?
The one that got the most votes.
I know they are both available on Amazon to rent.
Okay.
For
I
like
looked for
like
a hard
$3.
copy of it. I kind of thought it'd be cool. I don't know how people feel about this, but I kind of thought it'd be cool to get the hard copy and then do a giveaway on it every time. Because I don't like keeping movies anymore. I used to buy every movie when it came out. And I don't know if people are like, well, you're just giving me a used copy. I don't want people to feel like I'm giving my throwaways, but if I can get a hard copy of it all, I'll do that.
One of the copies, okay, so next month we're doing 2 movies. I think we basically said that.
Yeah.
One of the winners, and that it's the one we'll do second in the month, has just got a release from Shout Factory.
Okay.
So there's a Blu-ray version of it from Shout Factory, and you can find it on Amazon. You can rent it. I don't think there's any. Maybe. Let me look it up. This is all information you'll know if you tune in on the 1st, where to watch it. Now, the one I'd like to do at the beginning of the month that also won, because there's basically a tie.
It was
the 2 movies. You recently bought a copy, and I have 3 copies because I accidentally bought an extra copy because I got too excited. But I'm excited.
I am too, because I
don't think you've seen either one, have you?
No, and I don't think I'm gonna like either one. But
what?
I don't know, man. Like, I don't know, because all the things that I hear about the second one, the one that's like a classic, I'm just like, but I'm also like afraid that I'm gonna love it and I'm gonna feel so bad for missing out on getting a sick rad autograph from it.
Yeah, that's the one I'm hoping we'll watch first, since we both have copies, and then we can.
Okay.
But yeah, that's it. That is our very first discussion of our movie of the month club, and it's almost 2 hours.
Yeah, we'll do better next time, guys. But I love talking. I love hearing the sound of my voice and trying to interact with as many people that come in here as I can. So we'll speed it up next time.
I'm hoping to keep to an hour or a little less.
Absolutely. I'm down with that for sure. Hope you all have a great night. Chuck, Chesley, hope you guys have a great night, and we will talk very soon.
We will. Wait. All right, man. Y'all, everybody have a good night.
Bye.